Hello and welcome to Education Express, my dear friends. I'm very glad and excited to see the amount of response that you guys have shown in the videos of the past 3 sessions of Math Decoded. Very excited to share today's class with you with amazing and fabulous concepts which will really help you to not only improve your accuracy but at the same time it will improve your efficiency. The focus is basically to decode math with such confidence so that you feel extremely comfortable in analyzing the mathematical problem with solution at a snap of your finger. So the whole objective is basically to make math as a medium of communication in our normal course of understanding and interpretation of math. Today's topic is going to be percentage and how the traces of this percentage is going to be found in so many chapters that we do day in and day out. If you see the chapter with respect to simple interest, compound interest, unitary method, decimals, fractions, statistics, in most of the chapters the traces of percentage is found and its application. It is not just merely percentage, it is how to make use of those percentage in different chapters is decoding percentage. That's what we are going to learn in today's class. I hope you will surely enjoy today's class if you listen to this with concentration and a deep amount of passion. Here we go. So let's start with the concept of percentage. Supposing, let us say, we have two candidates, Ria and Dia. Ria got 64 marks out of 80. Whereas Dia got just 16 marks out of 20. The question is, between Ria and Dia, who has got more percentage? So my answer is very simple. Whenever you want to convert a fraction, so given any fraction, 1 upon 2, 1 upon 4, 1 upon 5, these are fractions. Whenever you want to convert fractions into percentage, the simple thing is you keep multiplying by 100. 1 upon 2 multiply by 100, I get 50%. So 1 upon 4 multiply by 100, I get 25%. So 1 upon 5 multiply by 100, I get 20%. In our example, Ria got 64. So it is 64 upon 80 multiply by 100. 0 cancels 0. 8 ones are, 8 eights are. So Ria got 80%. What about Dia? Dia's mom is worried and she feels that she has not done as good as Ria. Ria got 64 whereas Dia got just 16 marks. Let us see what is the matter of worry for Dia's mother. Actually speaking, there is nothing to worry. Even Dia has performed equally as to what Ria has performed. So percentage criteria is very simple. Whenever you have a fraction, if the fraction is multiplied by 100, automatically we tend to get the percentage. Remember, percentage is a very beautiful criteria. All the business decisions with respect to its financial accuracy or financial performance are indicated in terms of percentage. The chapter is so vast. Its usage is almost there comprehensively in most of the chapters. So knowing percentage not merely by formula but mentally we should be able to actually get the answer. That is the most important criteria. Now we are going to focus exactly how this criteria can be built. Many a time student gets their marks but they are not actually in a position to mentally find out what percentage they have secured. So teach them. They must learn this. If I get 30 on 50, how much percentage did I get? So if I get 30 out of 50, clean multiply by 100. What do you get? 1s are 2s are. Sir, I got 60%. So supposing for example I got 13 on 65. What about my percentage? 13 upon 65 multiply by 100. 1s are, 5s are, it's 20%. So getting percentage out of fraction is absolutely understood. Let's move on. Let us move on to the next concept. Suppose we have decimals. 0.3 convert decimals into percentage. How can we do so? Nothing. Straight away multiply by 100. How much it is? 30%. Many a time we say between A and B, let us have a partnership. What would be our ratio? Half-half. Half-half means your half and my half. It can also be said that half is nothing but if you multiply by 100, 50%, and over here also B will share 50%. Never to underestimate the power of decimal. When I say 0.12, and if you want to express this as a percentage, this can be expressed as 12 upon 100 as a fraction. And if you want to convert a fraction, or if you want to convert a decimal into percentage, we know for converting a decimal into percentage, we simply multiply by 100, you get 12%. If you want to convert fraction into percentage, again you multiply by 100 and you surely get your percentage. This was a very small, easy, basic technique of converting the percentage. I mean like converting the fractions or a decimal into percentage. Now how do we apply this percentage criteria while doing questions on profit and loss? So let me make you understand, whenever we discuss about profit, as far as mathematics is concerned, we have a simple definition of profit. Profit is nothing but sales minus cost. That means they say that profit is selling price minus cost price, and my loss would be cost price minus selling price. We have also learned the formula. What is profit percent? Profit percent would be profit upon cost into 100. But you know what? Most of the kids, they know the formula of profit and loss. But when you interact with them and give them the real questions related to real simple examples which are a part and parcel of our day-to-day life, many a times they flumble. The reason is very simple. What we have done is we have actually put up a mechanical formula into their head. So what happened, when the questions are a type of questions that we have to solve mentally, they will always demand for paper and a pen to work out even small to small question. When you ask them if a footwear is available for rupees 300 and the discount is 20%, so again you have to calculate percentage. When I say I'll give you a successive discount of 20% and 10% respectively, what would be the selling price of the footwear? Again, percentage criteria would be applicable. Now, how this type of questions could be done even without the formulae? I know formulas are there, part of expressing, part of presentation, but at the same time, we also want our kids to have a knowledge with respect to applying the same thing in our day-to-day life. Formula is way of expression. But mental math is basically a desired thing to have to make ourselves as a dignified personality so that we can take up a decision in a snap of time. So how do we go about wherein we can calculate these percentages in a short span of time? So what do we do? So here is a simple illustration as to how you should be computing your percentage. For example, if I buy anything for rupees 500, alright, and I want to sell it at a profit of 13%. So what kids are going to do? They will first find out, sir, profit will be 500 multiplied by 13 upon 100. First find out what exactly is the profit. So profit is available. Now sir, find out selling price, which is cost plus profit. Cost is 500, profit is 65. So sir, my selling price would be 565. This is how I will find out the selling price. Why we need to do this? We can do a simple way, a simple technique. Straight away you get selling price. How? What is the cost? So cost is 500. Multiply by. How much is the profit percent? 13. So please write 113 upon 100. Automatically, I am not even calculating. Your answer is going to be 565. You can verify this answer. Supposing, sir, if it was sold at a profit of 19%, then 500 multiplied by 119 upon 100. Automatically, you will get the answer. So, supposing if my cost would have been 600 rupees, I would have made a loss of 20%. Can you tell me the selling price? Of course, why not? Selling price would be, what is the cost? 600. I have sold at a loss of how much? 20%. So, out of 100, subtract 20. write 80% over here, automatically you will get your answer. 480 is the selling price. That means whenever I want to increase my percentage by 13%, profit is 13%, 100 will become 113. If it is a loss 20%, automatically it will become 80%. So supposing, let us assume that the cost of footwear is rupees 800 and it was sold at a profit of 25%. Selling price would be 800 multiplied by 125 upon 100. So why 125? See, 100 is towards recovery of cost and 25% is the profit. So basically I want to get 125%. Now when I say 3%, it means 3 upon 100. When I say 5%, it means 5 upon 100. So when I say 125%, it means 125 upon 100. So 100 plus 25, 100 is towards my cost. Profit percentage is 25%. So 100% plus 25%, 125%. 125% of my cost. 125% of my cost. So when I say 125% of cost is my sales, what does that mean? So 125 upon 100 of means multiplication, as we have already discussed in our previous class. Cost is 800. How much do you get? 0000. Sir, rupees 1000 is my sales. Absolutely right. So if one is wondering how do we get this, the logic is very simple. When I say I'm selling something at a profit of 4%, simple, cost multiply by 104 upon 100. Sir, I'm selling something at a loss of 9%. Cost multiply by 91 upon 100 because your loss is 9%. So your selling price is 91% of your total cost. When I say, sir, my cost price is 200 rupees, my loss is 5.5%. So can you tell me now how much is my sales? Of course, your selling price would be cost multiply by, since it is a loss, subtract from 100. So it will be 94.5 upon 100. So what I'm going to explain to you over here is a very simple thing. Whenever we are making a profit or a loss, we always have a base as 100. If it is a profit, that profit percent should be added to 100. If a profit is 5%, so cost multiply by 105, 100 plus 5, 105 upon 100. If it is loss of 8%, cost multiply by 100 minus 8, that is 92 upon 100. These are the simple ways in which we can easily calculate. If I go and visit a store and they say that, sir, it's a discount, we are offering a discount of 20%. So simple, cost multiply by, since it is a discount, so you have to reduce our cost. So it's going to be 100 minus 20, that means 80. So if the footwear was marked price as rupees 3000 and they are giving you a discount of 20%. So simple, sir, selling price of the product would be 3000 multiplied by, discount is 20%. So I am paying only 80%. So those footwear will cost me 2400 rupees. This is a very simple criteria of finding out the percentage. Applying the percentage while doing the question on profit and loss. We are starting with the basic thing. The first thing that we did was how to find the percentage of marks. We know how to convert a fraction into percentage. We know how to convert decimal into percentage. We also know now how to find out discount. See, we did a concept of loss, but the same concept can be applied in discount also. In case, sir, if we get 3 consecutive discount of 10%, then how we are going to apply that? Supposing, sir, a particular product is marked at rupees 1000. So mark price of the product is 1000 rupees. Then a vendor is willing to give first discount of 10%, second discount of 10%, third discount of 10%. So now, in case if I want to avail all the 3 discount, what would be my final selling price? So in case for a shopkeeper, you may probably do this way. So mark price is 1000. So first discount 10%. So 10% of this would be 100. Balance left 900. For your understanding, let me tell you that in case of recurring discount, the second discount will be available on the reduced price and never on the original price. Otherwise, I would have simply added all of them and have deducted 30%. That would be a wrong calculation. First, you reduce your discount. The first discount is reduced. Whatever amount you get, your second discount will be applicable on 900, which is going to be 90 rupees. When you subtract this, you get 810. Again, when you subtract the third discount, which is 10%, 81 rupees. Now, whatever amount you get, this amount perhaps is going to be, that is 729 rupees. This will be the final amount. Now, suppose if same thing you would like to do by doing a fast trick, you can simply say, sir, 1000 multiply by 10% discount. So, sir, I am going to get 90%. Sir, again 90%. And sir, again 90%. 10% off, so 90%. 10% off, so 90%. 10% off, so 90%. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 9 nines are 81. 81 nines are 729. Automatically we'll get your answer in case if you are well versed with your table. This is what exactly I want, that your thinking should improve. You must know how to go beyond those formulas. Formulas are going to stay with us, but then when we learn to analyze a thing and to interpret this way, things become very, very clear. Let us proceed with few. We are going to discuss now very interesting examples which will really make you understand how exactly sometimes the students will really get confused, because few questions cannot be solved with the help of formulas, as it will lead to unwanted confusion. Have a look at this question. For example, A gifted watch worth rupees 2000 to B. So A is gifting a watch of rupees 2000 to Mr. B. A has gifted it, a watch of rupees 2000 to Mr. B. B sold the watch to C for rupees 2000. So A got a gift from B. B is selling it to C for rupees 2000. Find percentage profit. I hope in case if you want to modify the question, you can modify the question sometimes as a sale promotion offer. You may receive something as a gift. Sometimes few sachets are delivered to your house as a promotional offer without you buying anything, yet you receive a gift. And in case if you don't happen to be using those products, you may sell those products to someone else who is genuinely interested in buying those products. Now in case something similar has happened over here, that A has gifted something to B, or B has received something as a sales promotional scheme from Mr. A. Now B got it and B is selling it to Mr. C for rupees 2000. Find out the profit percentage that Mr. B is going to get. Find the profit percentage or yield of profit which Mr. B got it. I'm sure if most of you will compute this question, you will say, sir, the answer is going to be 100%. Because whatever we are getting it, entire amount is profit. So sir, profit is 100%. Confess it. Ask yourself. Or probably you may find out some other answer. Tell me, what is your answer? Alright, now here we go. How? So guys, in situations like this, using our formula could be sometimes misleading. And many a time we don't even feel confident about the appearance of the answer. Have a look in this example particularly. Since we know that it was gifted by Mr. A, so the cost price is going to be 0 because B is not paying anything for the watch. Though the worth of the watch is 2000 rupees, but for B it is 0 because it is received as a sales promotion. What about the selling price? Of course, Mr. B is a smart dealer. He knows how to realize the worth of this watch and he is selling it to customer C for rupees 2000. What about his percentage of profit? Many people have told me, and after interacting with so many students, most of the answers that I have noted is, sir, the profit is 100% for a simple reason. So whatever amount Mr. B is realizing from selling this watch to C, The entire amount is a profit. So sir, entire 100% of 2000 rupees is a profit. So the answer is 100%, but that's not the correct answer. When I apply the formula, percentage of profit is cost profit upon cost into 100. We know that profit percentage is equal to profit upon cost into 100. How much is the profit that you have made in this transaction? 2000. What about the cost? So cost is 0. Multiply by 100. We have never come across a situation where in chapter of profit and loss account we got my cost as 0. Of course, in real life, in practical life, all these things are part and a parcel. When a vendor receives anything as a complimentary gift on purchase of his product, or even in case if he is crossing a particular turnover, he may receive something as a gift and he may tend to sell. His percentage profit on that sell is going to be infinite percentage. It will be meaningless to compute any number which gets divided by 0, because any number divided by 0 does not exist. It's invalid, not possible, absurd, not defined. So we will not be able to gauge or find out the percentage. We say so often where it is possible, or when is the case when it is not possible to compute the percentage. In the chapter of percentage, what we learn? We learn how to find the percentage. But over here, we want to find the percentage, but we will not get the adequate answer as how much is the percentage of profit we have made in this transaction. My dear friends, mathematics is a very different thing. And you have to have an understanding of such exceptional cases. Only then you have a perfect knowledge of how to decode math and how to use math as a language. Math should be a tool to remove all complications and make things simple for yourself as a natural mode of communication. It should not give you any stress by resulting into this kind of abnormality wherein you feel, oh, I'm so unsecured about the fact that what could be the outcome of this particular formula. So my dear friend, this was one fantastic example. Many cricket fans, cricket lover, though I am going away little slightly diverting myself from the topic of percentage, but so often we know that, let us say for example, if I talk about Sachin Tendulkar. Now in the past 5 innings, his scores were first inning, second inning, third inning, fourth inning and fifth inning. Scores were 20, 30, 40 not out, 50 and 60 not out. I want to find out his average. Now his average would be total number of runs scored, that is 20 plus 30 plus 40 plus 50 plus 60. What is the total number of runs scored? So it's going to be 200 divided by total number of innings. Many people have made this mistake. They divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whereas the fact is that it should be divided by only 3, because he is not out and he is not out. Out of 5 innings, 2 innings he is absolutely not out. So the number of times he got out is 3. So 200 should be divided by 3 to obtain the average, which is 66.6666 recurring, which is 66.67 approximately. Supposing, let us say, as against this, Harbhajan Singh, first inning, second inning, third inning, fourth inning and fifth inning, 0 not out because he did not get batting only, 5 not out, 7 not out, 2 not out, 1 not out. Most of the time he comes to play only for the last 1 or 2 balls. The last 5 innings were such. So in this example, his average is going to be 0 plus 5 plus 7 plus 2 plus 1. The whole divided by number of the time Mr. Harbhajan has got out. Harbhajan Singh has not got out once also. So that means I will divide by 0. 7, 8, 9, 10 and 15. 15 divided by 0. We know that we cannot divide. But this is a fact, this is a natural thing which can happen so often. In fact, most of the debut player who at their debut, whatever number of runs they score, in case if they remain not out, what about the strike rate? Now, over here, in case if I want to find out what is the average score per inning over here, then the average score per inning would be not defined. Not defined means it is infinity. It is infinity means this is a special case wherein we will not be able to find out his average. Imagine sometimes even mathematics has got no answer to your question. When you follow the formula, of course, yes, you will become slave to that formula. But when you apply the logic, of course, yes, things will become very clear to you as you understand the substance of exactly why this particular question has been created. I'm not against using the formula. I am of the opinion that first you understand why the formula is devised. Formula is just like a machine. It is devised to make your operation faster. But that is not the life. More importantly, understanding the subject inclusively by understanding each parameter of the question is more relevant, more important in order to unlock and interpret math in a better way. Let's have one more example of the same type where it will really unlock many of the doubts that many people have. The topic that we have chosen is very comprehensive one. Let me blend this topic of percentage with unitary method as well. One must understand while solving the question on percentage. We started with percentage and right now I'm showing you how to apply this percentage while computing your profit and loss. At the same time, you'll also be using unitary method. That means imagine a math is a consolidation of so many concepts. It's not an isolation but a consolidation. What I'm trying to tell you is that remember one point. Point number one. Remember this point very well. Whenever we are talking about profits, the percentage of profit is always computed on cost. Remember, when I say my profit is 5%, so it is 5% of cost. It will never be a 5% of selling price. When I am talking about loss, let us say my loss is 10%. So the loss is on cost price. Profit percent or loss percent will always be computed on the cost price. It will never be computed on the selling price. You may have a different view, but the calculation, the universal calculation, the actual calculation in mathematics which it recognizes, profit and loss should always be computed on the cost. Of course, yes, the question may give you that my profit is 20% on sales. In this example, we can find out the relationship between profit on sales and profit on cost. Most of the businessmen till date have not been able to understand how to compute a simple way of profit on cost and profit on sales. I'm going to show you this technique, which is very unique technique, yet trust me, many people don't know it. If you practice and if you try and understand this conceptually, you will surely have an amazing understanding of what exactly I'm trying to tell you. It can be helpful to many businessmen also. See, understand chapter like percentage, when it gets blended with unitary method, when it gets it with profit and loss, automatically it takes care of most of the algebra part, most of the commercial arithmetic part, which is very important, and you need to be very strong, very smart at dealing with these percentages and calculating this mentally and manually so simply. Now, understand this example. Let us say Mr. A sold first article for rupees 720. This is the selling price. And second article was also sold for rupees 720. So two articles are sold, one for 720, the other also for 720 only. This article was sold at a profit of 20%. This article was sold at a loss of 20%. Very interesting. In first transaction, I made a profit of 20%. In the second transaction, I made a loss of 20%. When this question was asked, most of the answers what I have received was, sir, since I made a profit of 20% in first transaction and I made a loss of 20% in the second transaction, so sir, the total profit what I have made in both the transaction, net to net, would be zero. Unfortunately, that was an incorrect answer. For a very simple reason, for the purpose of computation of profit, one must understand that cost is the most important criteria. Profit or loss are computed on cost and not on sales. So what are we going to do? Very simple. Sir, selling price equals to cost price multiplied by, since profit is 20%, so we can take 120 upon 100. And sir, selling price is also given to us. Substitute that selling price. So 720 multiplied by 100 upon 120 will give you your cost price. 0 cancels 0. 12 ones up, 12 6 up. So cost price is rupees 600. Now suppose you may argue, sir, though you have used the shortcut formula, but formula is used. Can we do it mentally? So simple. Since I am selling this at a profit of 20%, so that means I am realizing 100% of my cost plus I am realizing 20% of profit. So I am realizing 120% of cost. Since 120% is 720, 120% is 720. That means this 720 is 120%. So 120% represent unitary method. 720 is nothing but 120%. So my cost is 100%. So 100% is how much? So automatically what we can do is, so 720 divided by 120 into 100. Automatically you will get 600. There is no need for you to rely on this formula. This formula also states the same thing only. 720 into 100 upon 120. When I say my profit is 20%, that means I am selling at 100 plus 20, 120% of my cost. So this 720 is nothing but 120% of cost. So how much is 100% of cost? 720 represent 120%. How much is 100%? Automatically you will get it by unitary method. So why do one need formula when we can do it mentally? Now this one we will do it mentally. We are not going to use any formula for this. Let us see if we are able to find this or no. Since selling price is 720, loss is 20%. You know that our cost is 100%. Cost is always 100%. पूरा का पूरा cost में लग गया. How much I am realizing more? No sir, you are losing 20%. Oh, out of 100% I am losing 20%. That is my loss. So I can realize only 80%. That means this represents 80%. What I am interested in finding cost. Cost means how much? 100%. So 720 is 80%. So 720 divided by 80 multiply by 100. याद रहे, multiply तो 100 से ही होगा. So why? Because my cost is 100%. Why? So because I want to find cost. Cost is 100%. So multiply तो 100 से ही होगा. Divide किससे होगा? अगर आपने प्रॉफिट किया है तो 100 plus 20, लॉस किया है तो 100 minus 20. Suppose an article was sold for 800 rupees. I had made loss of 20%. Can you find the cost? Of course, sir. So 800 multiply to 100 से ही होगा and divide by what? So since I made a loss of 20%, 100 minus 20, so I'll divide by 80. Automatically you will get to know your cost is 1000 rupees. This is very well understood. So same over here, in case if I want to find the cost, 720 divided by 80%. So 80 into 100. How much is your cost? So my cost would be 0 cancel 0. 8 ones are, 8 nines are. My cost would be 900. Since you know your cost is 600 over here and 900 over here, so your total cost is 900 plus 600, that is 1500. How much is your total sales? So my total sales would be 720 plus 720. So 720 plus 720, 1440. So I am making a loss of 60 rupees. Though at the face of it, 20% profit, 20% loss, selling price remaining same, yet I am making a loss. Yet I am making a loss. So my dear friends, it's very important that you understand. In this example, you not just understood how to crack the sum, but we also understood by applying unitary method, we can simply find out the cost. Now I'll give you one small example where this particular unitary method can be applied. It would be fantastic, very, very interesting for most of us. Let us say you go to Domino's. You ordered for a pizza. and the cost of pizza was, let us say, 318 rupees, inclusive of tax. These days, you know, each restaurant will charge you tax. GST brackets, whatever the GST bracket would be, maybe 5%, 12%, 18%, 28%, or a 0%. Let us say in this scenario, when we go to Domino's, we have ordered for a pizza and we got a bill. Our bill is 318 rupees, inclusive of tax. We know that we are in a tax bracket, tax rate. It is, let us say, 6%. My tax rate is 6%. So if you want to know how much tax is included in this 318, I am interested in finding out my tax. So one must understand that they will charge you tax on the mark price of the pizza. We have no clue about the mark price of the pizza. So we are assuming, let the mark price of the pizza be 100. If mark price of the pizza is 100, how much will be the tax on 100? At the rate of 6%. So tax would be 6 rupees. So the inclusive price would be 106 rupees. Fantastic. What I am trying to tell you over here is very simple. What is the total price of the pizza? 318. This is a net selling price of the pizza. It's a cost for you, but it is a net selling price for the Domino's. 318. So I am interested in finding out how much is the tax element, how much tax I am paying. And sir, I am also interested in finding out how much is the marked price of the pizza. That means without including tax, what is the price? So I'll simply say 318 divided by how much is the tax rate? 6%. So tax will raise your cost or reduce your cost. So it will raise my cost. So 100 plus 6, 106. Multiply by, if you are interested in finding out the tax, multiply by 6. If you are interested in finding out the mark price of the pizza, 318 divided by, how much you have to divide by? Same, because tax is included in this, into 100. This 100 plus this 6 makes 106. And if you go to see, 318 divided by 106 into 6 will give you 18 rupees as your tax element. If you are interested in finding out what exactly is the mark price of the pizza, you will get 300 rupees as a mark price of the pizza. Remember, many shops, they fool the people by charging any element of taxation. Even though they are not enrolled or an entitled dealer for GST, yet they charge tax, fooling you. You must understand one thing very clearly. In case you know for sure that restaurant is charging you 5% as a taxation or a GST, and your total bill amount is, let us say, 525, and if you are interested in finding out how much the tax that they have collected from you, simple, sir, tax collected would be 525 divided by, how much is the tax? 5%. So 100 plus 5, 105 into 5. When you do this calculation, automatically you will come to know 1s are 5s are, 5 5s are 25. 25 is a tax element. That means the cost of the food that I have consumed is 500 and tax on it is 25. This is how we can segregate. So next time, whenever you go to Domino's and when you see your total amount of the bill, the total bill that you received is for 1100 and your tax rate is, let us say, 10%. So find out your tax element. How? So total bill divided by tax is 10%, so I will divide by 110. 100 plus 10. And I will multiply by 10 because I am interested in finding the tax. If you see this, you will get to know, so 100 rupees will be a tax. And what about the mark price of the food that you have consumed? So the mark price of the food can be found out by taking this whole thing divided by same 110 and multiply by 100. So why you are multiplying by 100? 100 means the total mark price. On the total mark price, I will charge you tax. So very simple, when the price is inclusive, what exactly we need to do, one can understand. Last sum for the day, the last sum for the day based on the same thing, same concept. Let us take one more example. Let us say your monthly petrol bill. Your monthly petrol bill is rupees 1440. What about the VAT? So VAT is at 12%. So if I'm interested in finding out what is the element of VAT, now this monthly petrol bill is surely inclusive of VAT. I'm interested in finding out what is the element of VAT in my bill. So whenever you want to find, my dear students, what you need to do is, so VAT can be computed very simple. Take the total bill, multiply by 12, but don't make the mistake of dividing by 100. If you divide by 100, it will be incorrect because this bill is inclusive of VAT. If my cost is 100%, VAT is 12%. So total composition of the bill is made up of cost plus VAT, which is 100% plus 12%, 112. So now in case if you do the calculation, whatever answer you get, that would be your final answer. I hope you understand what exactly we are saying. Take another example. Let us say total bill, total cost of TV set was 3,600 rupees. Now this was including GST at the rate of 20%. Though we don't have a slab of GST of 20%, just for the sake of convenience we are doing it. So what about the GST rate? So GST rate is 20%. What is the total cost of the TV set? 3600. If you are interested in finding out how much is the element of GST, take the total bill, which is inclusive of tax. So it is 3600. Multiply by, what is the GST rate? 20. Please don't make the mistake of dividing by 100 because this was inclusive of GST. So you will divide by 100 plus 20, that's 120. And now again you can compute your answer. If you see 0 will get cancelled with 0, 12 ones are 3s are approximately, you will get 0 cancels 0, 12 ones are, 12 3s are, 300 into 2, 600 rupees would be GST. If you want to find out TV, cost of TV without GST, it would be 3600 minus 600. That would be rupees 3000. If you want to verify your answer, you can verify it on 3000 rupees. If I have to charge GST of 20%, so we will say, sir, at 20% of this, 20% of this would be 600 rupees. That's going to be 3600. So next time when you get your bill inclusive of tax, one must have the ability to divide the bill into the element of tax and the cost of the product. That means we must have the ability of doing it mentally. We must teach our kids all these things so that every time they keep calculating the percentage and they learn this as a naturally, not by merely using their formulas, but automatically by doing it as a mental process. My dear friends, the concept of percentage chapter and its application in various other chapters cannot be just completed in such short span of time. So we have divided day 4 session into two parts, part 1 and part 2. So this is what we have covered so far is part 1. I expect you guys to have a thorough understanding of part 1 so that we can prepare ourselves for part 2 as well. Many exciting stories and many important concepts which are relevant for us in understanding and interpreting math is waiting for us. I'm sure you're going to have a fantastic time going through and exploring these concepts what we have discussed so far. And I'm equally waiting and curious to share with you part 2 as soon as you guys get an understanding of the part 1. I'm also sharing with you few important questions. That means in the form of PPT, which would be a part of as a homework assignment for you. Try and solve those questions and the relevant videos related to the solution to those questions would be shared with you shortly. I'm sure you guys are liking the class. At the same time, I want or favor me by sharing these videos with your friends and relatives so even they can get the benefit of empowering themselves at math. Thank you so much for so much of love and watching the video. Thank you so much from Education Express. This is Kishore Jain. Thank you so much.